Well, the party Cokie wants to throw for his former fellow orphans at the orphanage has uncovered a sad state of affairs. Mr. and Mrs. Craig, in charge of the orphanage, are misappropriating funds and neglecting the children. The Aces learned about it last night. This episode takes place the following morning in two scenes. Mr. Ace's office, and then to the office of the orphanage. But first to Mr. Ace, who is called in a trustee of the orphanage to talk it over. Listen.
And so you see, Mr. Jeffrey, the kids there are not being fed properly. They're being deprived of everyday necessities. And all in all, this new couple you've got in charge they're running things pretty much to suit themselves. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if they're making a lot of money out of this thing for themselves.
Yes, Mr. Ace, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, you agree with me then?
Certainly looks that way. This letter your wife brought home with her, you say one of the children out there handed it to her?
Yeah, one of the little boys there sneaked it to her as she was going out. She'd been over there to arrange this party I was telling you about for the boy we took out of the orphanage.
Very pitiful state of affairs, isn't it?
I'll say it is. Something's got to be done about it. I don't usually mix into things like this, but this is so obvious and well, so cold-blooded. I'm surprised that you subscribers to that orphanage have let it run as long as it has.
Yes, it was a sad mistake the day we let Mrs. Duffy go.
Yeah, Mrs. Duffy. I understand she was quite a wonderful woman with the kids there.
Yes, she was, Miss Grace. I myself was opposed to letting her go, but I was voted down. You see, Mrs. Duffy had been running up quite a deficit every year, and the other members thought a change of management would...
Yes, but not at the expense of those kids out there, Mr. Jeffrey.
Of course not. I quite agree with you.
And, of course, you're going to do something about it.
Well, I wish I knew what.
What? All you have to do is to show that child's letter to your board, or whoever they are. Isn't that letter proof enough?
Yes, it could be. But, of course, it was written by one of the children there. The board would feel that children are always complaining.
Well, they never complained when Mrs. Duffy was there.
No, but then again, Mrs. Duffy was so big-hearted with them that they were always making up deficits.
Oh, I suppose there hasn't been a deficit since Mr. and Mrs. Craig took it over.
No, there hasn't.
Yeah, there probably has been a profit.
No, they haven't shown it.
Not to you they haven't. They've probably been pocketing the profit at the expense of those kids.
I wouldn't be surprised. But, of course, if they have, they've been very careful to hide all traces of it. The books don't show it.
Oh, this is no time to get technical. You don't have to look at books. All you have to do is look at this one letter here.
Oh, I agree with you, Mr. Ace. But if it were only as easy to convince the other members of the board...
Well, I'll convince them. Well, all I'd have to do is to bring some of those children up there with me. They could tell some stories, I bet.
The board would want more cooperation than merely stories by the orphan care.
Well, I don't see what kind of... Oh, hello, Marge.
Oh, what's the verdict? Are they going to clean that place up?
Oh, this is Mr. Jeffrey, Miss Hale.
How do you do?
Pleased to know you, Miss Hale.
I was just showing Mr. Jeffrey the letter that Jane brought home.
Isn't it pitiful? That Craig couple has been getting away with murder.
Oh, Miss Hale's a personal friend of the family, Mr. Jeffrey.
Oh, I see.
I know all about it, and I think it's high time you trustees or subscribers or whatever you call yourselves did something about it.
Well, Miss
In
Hale...
the first place, I want to tell you, Marge, that Mr. Jeffrey just told me that he voted against this Craig couple. He was in favor of keeping Mrs. Duffy there.
Well, I should say they should have.
Yes, but unfortunately, I am only one member of the board. I was voted down. And for quite a logical reason, you must understand. After all, Mrs. Duffy was running the place at quite a loss every year, a loss which we had to make up. But this past year, we've had no loss.
Well, is it all right with them now that these kids are being starved and that this Craig couple are making a little fortune for themselves by neglecting those kids?
No, it's not all right. But we must have proof that they are.
Proof? Well, didn't you read this letter?
Yes.
Mr. Jeffrey feels that the board would not be likely to take the word of one of the children there against the superintendent.
They wouldn't. Well, I know somebody that would. I'll bet I can get this letter published on the front page of the newspaper, and I'll bet I can arouse public indignation to such an extent that
Now, please, Miss Hale.
And I will, too, unless something comes.
No, I don't think we'll have to go to that extent.
Well, I will unless those conditions are changed. I mean it, Ace. I can get Neil to print this letter.
Now, wait, Marge. Mr. Jeffrey wants to cooperate with us.
Oh, I certainly do. I only want to get some more definite evidence that I can show my fellow board members. If I can prove that the Craigs are making a personal profit out of the orphanage fund...
Well, this letter proves it to me, and if your board members are hard-hearted enough to say...
everybody.
Oh, hello, Jane.
Hello. Hello, Mark.
Oh, Jane, this is Mr. Jeffrey. That's my wife, Mr. Jeffrey.
How do you do?
Oh, pleased to meet your acquaintance.
Mr. Jeffrey is a member of the orphanage board, Jane. We're talking over conditions at the orphanage.
Oh, you are? Well, that's what I came about, dear, about the $25. I got to have it because Toby's made up his mind to give the party tomorrow.
Oh, yes. The $25. That's another thing, Mr. Jeffrey. Did you know that your Mr. and Mrs. Craig are renting out the banquet hall at $25 a party?
Renting it out?
Yes, they want $25 rent so we can throw the party I was telling you about.
Well, I never heard of that.
Well, it's true. And if that doesn't prove that there's graft going on there, then I don't know what does.
By golly, that's it. That's what we'll do.
What?
We can get the goods on the Craigs by paying them the $25 and getting a receipt from them. That receipt will be evidence enough.
Yeah, say, that might work.
Of course it will. And when we get the receipt, will that be enough proof so you can get things back to normal there again?
Of course it will.
Well, I'll consider it the best money I ever spent if it will.
I'm sure it will.
Folks, I hate to change the subject, but how about it, dear? Can you give me the $25 now so I can go out?
Yes, Jane, I'm going to.
But you've got to get a receipt, Jane.
A receipt?
Yes, we want you to... Oh, wait a minute. We better not let her do it to just ball things up.
Oh, I'll go.
No, they'll start suspecting something if you go. How would it be if I went?
Well, personally, I don't see what would be wrong with having Mrs. Ace go.
Well, you don't know Mrs. Ace.
But after all, she started this deal, and I think
Just a minute now. I heard that last remark. What do you mean he doesn't know Mrs. Ace?
Yes, Jane. Just don't bother.
I'd like to know just what's going on
Jane,
here.
will you please go away? Don't bother
No,
us.
I won't. I want to know what you meant by that remark.
Okay, now listen to this. We have to do something that's very important. We have to try to catch Mr. and Mrs. Craig actually taking graft. Renting the banquet hall is graft. They're going to keep the $25 just as they kept other money out there. Now, when we give them the $25, we want a receipt for it. The receipt will show they accepted the $25. With that receipt as evidence, we can oust them. You see?
Yes. So what did he mean by that remark when he
Oh,
said that?
Jane, will you please stop?
Well, it's very simple, Mrs. Ace. All you have to do is give them the $25 and ask for a receipt. Then bring me that receipt and leave the rest to me.
Can you do that, Jen?
Well, sure I can.
Yes, you can. Now, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Wayne, when you go out there with the $25, just tell us what you're going to say, huh? Everything.
Everything?
Yes.
Oh, well, first I'll walk in and I'll give him the $25. Then he'll say thank you and I'll say you're welcome. And then I'll say I'd like to have a receipt.
Good, Jane.
Then he'll say what for? And I'll say income tax. And then he'll say...
Who said anything about income tax?
I did. That's what I'll tell him. I can't come out and say I want the receipt so we can give it to Mr. Jeffrey for evidence, can I?
Of course not.
Of course I can't. I have to play smart.
That's the ticket, Mrs. Ace.
Well, thanks, Mr.
Look,
Jeffrey.
Mr. Jeffrey, I understand the situation a little better than you do. Will you please not encourage her to talk about income tax?
Now, don't you worry, dear. You just give me the money.
But if you're going
Give
out
her
there...
the money and let her go. We want to get some action.
Oh, all right. But something tells me that... Oh, all right. Here. It's 10, 20, 25.
Thank you.
Now, look here. I just want to ask one favor. I'm going to be sitting here the rest of this morning very anxious to know if you got the receipt. Please call me up the minute you get it.
Oh, sure, dear. I'll call you the minute I get it.
Because if you don't...
I know you'll be sitting on pins and cushions worrying about it. I'll call you, dear. Well, I'm off.
Yes, we know.
Goodbye, Mr. Jeffrey.
Good luck, Mrs. Ace.
Thank you.
I think we're going to clean up this whole mess.
I wish I had your confidence.
Don't forget the receipt, Jane.
I won't. Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, I hope it turns out all right.
Oh, don't worry. It's very simple.
Well, you know how she can be about the simplest things.
I think it's going to be fine. Now, I've got to get busy finding Mrs. Duffy.
Mrs. Duffy.
Sure, we're going to put her back in charge as soon as we get rid of these two cooks.
Hey, that'll be fine. The kids really liked her.
She's a wonderfully kind old lady. She was a mother to all of them.
Hope you certainly speaks glowingly of her.
Yes, they all do.
Oh, what a kick you'll get out of this. Is she still in town, Mr. Jeffrey?
Oh, yes. I believe she went to live with a daughter. I think I know where to find her. I've always felt we made a mistake the day we let her out. It's been on my conscience ever since.
Well, you'll certainly sleep soundly tonight if you put this over, Mr. Jeffrey.
I feel lighter already.
I wish I could. I won't until Jane calls me here.
I'm going to wait until she does. How long does it take her to get out there?
Oh, about a half an hour, I guess. We ought to hear from her not later than an hour at the most.
Well, I'll be running now. I'll call you later to find out how it went.
Yes, you do that, Mr. Jeffrey.
Good day, Miss Hale.
Goodbye, Mr. Jeffrey. I hope you find Mrs. Duffy all right.
Yes? Who is it?
Mrs. Ace.
Oh, come in, Mrs. Ace.
Good morning, Mr. Craig.
Oh, good morning. Come in. I was wondering if you'd come in today.
Well, I got the $25.
Yes? Oh, that's good. I'd like to have it in advance.
Well, here it is. $10, $20, $25.
$25, that's right.
You're welcome. Mr. Craig,
Yeah?
I'd like to have a receipt.
Oh, all right.
What for? For income tax.
Yes, I guess you do. You make it so evident.
Yes, because... What did you say?
I'm making it out for you right here. You see, $25 rental a banquet hall for 1 day. When are you going to give the party?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? That's kind of short notice.
Well, Kofi's kind of got his heart set on it.
Yeah, I guess we can have it all fixed up. I'll tell him this date.
I want to come early tomorrow and rehearse to tell him to sing some songs for Kofi, too.
Yeah, I guess that can be arranged. Here you are, Mrs. Ace.
What's that?
Your receipt.
Oh, well, thanks. You see, $25 rental of... Oh, this is fine. This is just what we wanted. Well, goodbye then, Mr. Oh, could I use your phone?
Phone?
Yes.
I guess so. What is that?
Thank you. I want to call my husband. I promised I'd call him.
Well, go right ahead. Help yourself.
Thank you.
What time tomorrow do you want the party to begin?
Oh, about noon. We're going to make it a sort of a luncheon.
Noon, huh?
Uh-huh. Hello, is that you, dear? Yes, dear.
Well?
I got it. Yes, Mr. Craig just gave it to me just this minute. And it wasn't hard at all. He didn't even suspect it.
Wait a minute. Where are you calling from?
From the orphanage, Mr. Craig's right here. He just this minute gave me...
Right there while you... Oh, isn't that all?
Hello? Hello? Oh, I got cut off. Well, I told him anyhow. Goodbye, Mr. Craig. See you tomorrow.
Well, Jane did get the receipt, even if she did almost give the whole plan away. But tomorrow's the party and a big day for Cokie, as we learn when next we meet the Easy Aces.